Governor, I hear from a lot of these public union workers who are saying, well, wait a minute, this is really a not-so-veiled attempt just to crush unions. You say what?
I say absolutely not. I filed this original lawsuit when I first became governor of Illinois 3 years ago because I believe it's about freedom of speech and freedom of political association. It is unfair for a government union to force government employees to pay dues when many of them do not agree with the political positions of that union. And in fact, all government unions, by the nature of their work, are political, 100% in everything they do. And restoring freedom of speech is critically important.
Now, the unions will come right back at you, Governor, and you've heard this argument quite a bit. Of those workers are the beneficiary of those due-paying members and what they got for that, and the pay raises, the benefits, et.cetera. So they're getting their cake and eating it too.
I strongly disagree with that. Basically, I think they're being hurt by forced dues paying. Many of them would be able to make more if they were not in a union and they were paid based upon merit and productivity and their effectiveness for taxpayers. And that's the way I believe everyone in government should be paid. I also think that the power of government unions, when it's unlimited and unfettered, basically is a conflict of interest. It's organization against the common good. When a government union boss can give campaign cash to a politician to get him elected and then turn around and negotiate an unaffordable contract with that politician, it's a conflict. If that happened in the private sector, somebody would go to jail. We shouldn't accept it in the government sector. We should have a balance of power between taxpayers and the insiders inside government bureaucracy.
We did reach out, Governor, to the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, better known as AFSCME. They provided a statement, and I quote here, "In the face of ruthless, dishonest attacks against their freedom to come together in strong unions, working people are drawing the line. We stand united in fighting a rigged system that rewards the super wealthy at everyone else's expense." What do you think?
I think that's completely false. I think what's rigged is the way government is rigged against taxpayers in America. In too many states, forced government unionism denies workers their rights of political association and free speech, and it's an insider deal, a corrupt bargain between government unions and the politicians they elect, and that they basically bribe to give them unaffordable deals that hurt taxpayers. The system's rigged against working families in the state of Illinois and across America, and it costs taxpayers dearly in unfair ways.
All right, now, how do you feel about private sector workers who are part of unions and have to pay those dues? Does the same apply, in your opinion?
I think it's completely different. There's a huge difference between government unions and trade unions. In the private sector, in private business, there's no corrupt bargain. They are not allowed to basically bribe executives and businesses to give them unaffordable contracts. Somebody would go to jail in the private sector.
But all those workers are required to be part of that union.
Well, in some states they are and some not, and that's okay. It's up to the state to decide. Because in the private sector, the speech isn't political in its nature. In government, everything a government union does is political and impacts taxpayers and impacts freedom of speech. That's what's at issue in this case. And frankly, government unions are fundamentally different. They're allowed to bribe politicians that they then negotiate with. That's wrong, and that's the reason Franklin Delano Roosevelt was against the power of government unions, and he supported private sector unions.